Hey there, folks. It's me, Chris, with a Gig Man's Life. Yeah, baby. It's a Gig Man's Life indeed. And of course, on this channel, we're all about that gig economy, freelancing on the internet, rideshare, delivery. Hey, if it isn't OF, we'll try it once and see how it goes. But, that is always what I think of OF as. I'll send you pictures if you don't send me money. That type of extortion gets you going to jail. But we're now going on to having a slideshow here, folks, because this is one of those presentations. We need to do this. And of course, gig app to felon, this is what happens without training, without that foresight, and bad press, because gig apps think agree equals training. Not even close, folks. We know that. They just think license, background check, click a few things, see a few videos, and you're ready to go. No real training here, folks. But, don't take it from somebody who's been working the apps for the last 4 years. I haven't seen updates on training or, anything else except please go and sign for the next round of background checks. Please upload your updated documents because, we all got to make sure that you're the right person here and to make sure that all your insurances are up to date and kept nice and neat. But then, we're always there. We're always looking. And the one thing that we do get trained on with certain apps is medication delivery. Yes, because prescriptions have to be handled in a particular way. You can't see what medications they're taking because that's not right. And also could be a little bit lethal for you. And then on top of it, you got to make sure it's the right person. You got to have them sign it. You got to take a picture of who you deliver it to because it's just that important to make sure. Because this isn't a wrong delivery that people get wrong food. This is you get the wrong meds, you're dead. But we can't see and confirm they're getting the right meds. We can just make sure that the bag that the meds are in that we can't see has the right name to the right person we're delivering to with the right address. That's what we get, folks. And food safety, there is some food safety, but if a health inspector ever checked the way we were handling this food at times, a lot of us would fail. And I mean straight out fail. Because cross contamination, even the ideas of it, can make you cringe. Of course, if you're doing rideshare, people buckling up, them bringing their kids without car seats when they need it, not a booster seat when they have to have it, that is putting us into legal terms of unsafe situations. And, you shouldn't be doing it regardlessly. Because here's the other thing that you don't think of, but we do here at the Gig Man's Life. Because my 10 years of doing corporate security on top of 10 years of IT security always tells me you can get blamed for anything just by doing simple things. And what if that child is already injured? This can happen, folks. They have an injured child, and then the next thing is that their child is in your car, and they're going to blame you for what's going on. And without training to recognize that a person treating their child like baggage by grabbing an arm and lifting them isn't somebody you want in your car. Okay, there's spiral fractures, there's pulling the arm out of its socket, although they're young and that they can go and be resilient on it more than us who are old. um there are situations you don't want to be a part of, and when you have to go through defending yourself, getting yourself back on platform, um 5 seconds of saying nah can save you a world of hurt from scammers. And yes, is there people like this? Possibly. I haven't ran into them, and if I see people acting like that, I am not handling it. If the kid's already injured, they're limping or whatever, and they're going, oh, I'm going to the doctor's. That's why I have cameras, so I can protect myself. But if you don't have cameras, suggest to get an ambulance for the kid. Okay? Don't take the risk. Because risk to reward, folks, that's always what I do in any situation. And, one bad decision, and nowadays it just goes viral. And you can end up with charges like Olivia Henderson out of New York, because now she's being prosecuted for illegal surveillance and dissemination of said surveillance. Now, all these apps will tell us, document issues, make sure that you go and take them down, but they also don't go, and some of them are saying, make sure that you have notifications that you're using cameras, that you have to have signage, all that. But when you're delivering something, you show up with somebody having one door wide open and their pants halfway down on their couch, a quick video to make sure that what your story is good to get. But putting it on TikTok and waiting for people to tell you that you might want to talk to the cops isn't the situation that you should be in by doing that. And regardlessly, when you have a person saying, well, I didn't know what the policy is. Well, the policy, girl, is not to go and do this, but no training that about harassment or other things can become an issue. And I've already covered this multiple times in other videos, but there's also Extra Spice Girl and our social justice warriors now talking shit and saying what they want to do to somebody's order if they see the wrong flags. And there is a large situation here that harassment training would cover, and just being proactive might save them a lot of things, because we see it in real jobs. Of course, I said 10 years of corporate security, 10 years of IT security. I've had real training, getting certified for real training, and then having updates on that training. Gig apps, as I've seen for the last 4 years, it's click, accept, and go. There's very little making sure that a person understands the training or what policies have changed. Because, folks, it's bad enough. It costs more to learn by your mistakes than it does to go and have training that actually matters. And it's not because we're not employees, we're contractors that we don't get this. I hate to say this, but I've been a contractor 10 years before doing this. Every contract required training. They required yearly updates on that training just to maintain the contract. So I can't see how they're getting away with the concept of not updating this training. But I also can see the other reasons why. Because, every bad experience, every situation that looks bad to us, makes us look horrible. And I've done a whole video about this, and situations. This is the ticking time bomb on these apps for especially real humans doing these jobs, is that they're waiting for automation. All these apps are just sitting around waiting to get that automation passed so that they can go and have the self-driving cars pick you up, drop you off. You get a little robot showing up and taking your picture and everything else and doing the delivery. This is what they're waiting for. And if you think they're not waiting for something like this is completely ridiculous. So, at the end of the day, folks, it's really important that these apps have their foot to the fire now, that they have to be required to train their contractors and make sure their contractors are up to date on that training. That annual training should be done. And you know what? Here's the best part. Paid for. Because that's time out of the contractor's life that they're not getting back. And if they complete it, yes, give them the money. 2 hours of training. If you want to do it, you can do it at that reduced discounted price in Massachusetts of 20 something bucks an hour that you give us for sick time that you eliminated to 40 hours so that we can't generate more, but we don't get the 33. So there's some fuckery with that. But of always, please check out the videos you see on the screen. I hope that you're doing fine. Everything's going great. And today will be one of those great profitable days for you. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.